Hey BookTube, welcome back to the History Shelf. My name is Peg. It is a Friday, and thanks for joining me here. Today we're going to do yet another used book haul. I took a poll in the community tab, and the majority of you said out of the two videos I could make today, which one do you want to see more? A juicy used book haul that has lots of really good titles? They do. Or a new history on the horizon, which I do have books for. But guess what? You're going to get both, but they'll be separated by a day or two. Okay, so the first video is the winner, and this is my recent adventures in used book shopping. So settle in, get your favorite hot drink, your cold drink, whatever you prefer. We are going to be looking at books that I picked up at Second and Charles, which I did. I took 2 days off during the week because my vacation time was maxed out, and I needed a break. So Wednesday before the storm rolled in, I went up to Second and Charles to check out their used books and to use up more of my in-store credit. And then other books that I have purchased via thrift books or online, like Amazon third party. Stuff like that. So I've kind of grouped them all together, but I thought I'd start with Second and Charles because I have an announcement to make as far as Second and Charles goes. I went in there with a bag full of books to turn in. 3 or 4 of them were hardcover, brand new releases in the last year or two, thrillers. And then I had a couple of history titles that were in good condition, really good condition, hardcover, and an assortment of different, paperbacks and stuff, but all in really good condition. Now, I'd say it's been, I don't go there all the time, but there was a time when I went there, took in just 6 or 7 books, and boom, I was offered like $30 in credit from the buyback rate. Whatever, I don't know what what mechanism they use to gauge the value, but let me tell you what, that has gone down significantly. I took in, I'm gonna guess, 8 books, and my jaw dropped. I thought I'd be getting at least $25 in credit. $3.80. $3.80. And I had 2 military history books that were brand new, hardcover, high quality. Nothing. So you know what? I'm done. I'm done with Second and Charles. After I have $14 left in credit, and after that, I'm done. I'm not going to be going there anymore. Martine will be happy, but I can't countenance it anymore. It's just not. It's not a value, I'm better served taking those books to the library, and they can put them to good use. I don't know what it is with Second and Charles, but they are just they've changed a process or something, but it really kind of stuck in my craw, let's just say. All right, so now that I vented that, please do share any stories that you have of any type of used book place. Do they offer you a good buyback rate? Or have you also been kind of screwed over by Second and Charles recently? Let me know. I'd love to dish it with you. So yeah, this is going to be probably my penultimate Second and Charles haul. Basically, if I go back there, I can only afford 2 books in credit, if I'm lucky, because they've also been raising the prices of the books that they're selling. So it's just like, you just can't get away from it. I don't know if you call it inflation, or maybe the company's just trying to survive at this point, but they're going to lose people because now I'm done. So let me show you what I got, though, from Second and Charles. The first book I saw was a really cool Norton edition from what edition is this one? 1990. And I thought I'd just add it to my other, pretty substantial library in Winston Churchill. This is Winston Churchill, Thoughts and Adventures. Again, it was from Norton. Came out, and they charged $5.75 for this, which is pretty good for Second and Charles, but still, it's a really nice. I don't even need the dust jacket. This one's really kind of cool. So it's an assortment of a collection they put together. It's a collection of Winston Churchill's occasional journalism. And they call this one of his most engaging and approachable books. Let's see here. He ranges fluently over a wide field of subjects that include memories of World War I, thoughts on flying, political musings, and the relaxing effects of painting as a hobby. Interesting. So there's a nice little assortment of articles here, and I think some of them even have some cartoons. So I thought I would just get this because I pretty much have a lot of books on Churchill. I don't have a complete collection, nor do I need one. But I'm curious just to read a book of essays, and I love books with just essays, a variety of essays. So yeah, it's a used book. I thought I'd pick it up. Winston Churchill, Thoughts and Adventures. I don't talk like that. Really. Then on the clearance rack, I found this book. I'm a big fan of this author, this historian, Max Hastings, and there's a variety of stickers on here, the clearance stickers. But I haven't seen this book before. God bless. Anyway, this is Max Hastings, and this is Warriors, Portraits from the Battlefield, with that beautiful $2 price tag right there. Markdown. Portraits from the Battlefield. This is a fairly good, in good condition. I guess it was originally $5. I'm sorry, I just went there the other day. I haven't had a chance to clean it off, but it's decal-edged. The only thing wrong with it is it here or was it another book? I saw it had a rip on the front page. Maybe not. No, it's in great condition. Oh, wait, I know what I wanted to tell you guys. When I saw this book, I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is my first time, pretty much sure this is my first time coming across a book where the original reader had inserted a book review of same book within its pages. That to me is pretty special. I have never come across it before. And then as I was flipping through this, just standing there in the aisle, I'm like, oh, what is this? No way. Sure enough, someone had put, look at that. I got the book review. This is so great. This is it, and this came right after the my decision to I ripped out some book reviews from different magazines that I was about to recycle, and I'm like, I'm going to put these in the books that I have or I'm going to read or have read. So it's kind of like a new hobby of mine now, where I'm looking for little book reviews that I can kind of fold up and stick in the book. But isn't that great? This, let me see. This it was a review in the Wall Street Journal. Oh, look at that. It's a pretty substantial review too. Okay. Yeah, I don't see the date on here, unfortunately, but anyway, I just had to share that with you guys. I was like, oh. So, yeah, Max Hastings. I've read a couple of his books, most recently his Catastrophe, 1914. This book, in Warriors, Hastings takes up the experience of 14 soldiers and airmen, together with one remarkable sailor who fought in the wars of the 19th and 20th centuries, portraying their triumphs, follies, and sometimes tragedies. We meet Baron Marbot, an exuberant cavalry officer who joined Napoleon's army at the age of 17 and fought through Waterloo in a happy and shameless pursuit of glory. Paratrooper Slim Jim Gavin, an orphan who enlisted in World War II to escape his miserable boyhood and went on to become America's youngest general since Custer. Nancy Wake, a dashing Australian who fought for the resistance in Nazi-occupied France. Avigdor Kahalani, an Israeli officer hideously burned in the Six-Day War, who, 6 years later, was one of the tank commanders who saved his country during the defense of the Golan Heights in the Yom Kippur War. Each of Hastings' pen portraits depicts a unique and remarkable human story. So those were just a few of them. Oh, how cool is this, though? Yeah, I just love little pastiches like this. Well, not a pastiche, sorry, that's the wrong use of the word, but it's, it just kind of hopscotches around. So you're never bored, if you're just wanting something, you can kind of open a book that has something new in every chapter. This is perfect. So we've got, trying to find who else is listed in here. In the meantime, I'll tell you this book came out in 2005. I don't have the names of everyone, but anyway, looks really interesting, and it was $2. But since I had credit, it was free. Okay. On to the next. Okay, I'm going to show this one. Saw this in the World War II section. Sorry. Whoa, my voice is dry. Not my voice, my air is dry. My voice is scratchy. I had never seen this book, and I've been kind of interested lately getting back into World War II. So I finished a book recently for review called Takeover by Timothy Ryback. It's coming out real soon. Loved it. And it was the run-up to, it was like, subtitle of the book is Hitler's Rise to Power, Final Rise to Power. And it stops short of The Night of the Long Knives, which, if you have been watching my videos faithfully, and I can see that book right there above my head, it's horizontal, transverse there or whatever. I got a book on The Night of the Long Knives because I had also listened to a podcast on the Rest is History podcast where they were doing a whole series on Hitler's rise to power. And they did The Night of the Long Knives, and it was just so fascinating and detailed, full of just interesting personalities. Not the best personalities, but the way they told it, Tom Holland and Dominic Sandbrook, it was really interesting. So I was hoping that I might get a little bit more scholarship around Night of the Long Knives in the Timothy Ryback story, but I did not. That book kind of, ends shortly before The Night of the Long Knives. So anyway, all that to say is this title grabbed my eye because I thought this was another history on The Night of the Long Knives and more substantial. But it isn't, but it's still really interesting. This is Long Knives and Short Memories. Lives and Crimes of the 7 Nazi Leaders Sentenced at Nuremberg by Jack Fishman. They got the stamp there at Spandau Prison. So Long Knives and Short Memories. Obviously he's making a play on The Night of the Long Knives. But yeah, this book was marked as like $5.95. This is the book that has something wrong with it. It's just, this page is just ripped off, but it does not matter to me. So yeah, this book came out in 1986. Oh, this is a first edition. Yeah, I got a first edition. So it says here, in 1945, 7 men, once among the most powerful on earth, were locked away in a vast prison built to hold more than 600 inmates, surrounded by every conceivable escape-proof precaution. Tried and convicted for attempting to enslave the world, they were the last of what Winston Churchill had called the Hitler Gang. Their sentences, meted out by the court at Nuremberg, represented a gigantic step forward in the recognition of international justice. They stood condemned for their part in a campaign of organized cruelty, such as history had never seen before. So this book is the outcome of those years of dedicated research. Okay. It examines the 7 men themselves, their private lives, their motivation, their machinations inside Spandau, their relationships with each other, and their attitudes to their crimes. It's built up from conversations with families, lawyers, and friends, and enemies, and in some cases, the men themselves, from visits to Berlin made with their wives, from letters written in prison, both authorized and smuggled, and from authentic conversations between the prisoners. This aspect of the book is in itself a gripping study in human corruption. That's what sold me on this. Just to try to, get an insight into how these people rationalized, or, how did they see themselves, like just the level of delusion and narcissism involved. I'm very curious about that aspect of the human. It's my wrestling with the evil inherent, the evil that men do, right? And just how there's always you always have that choice to make, And boy, these guys really went whole hog towards the dark side. Yes, so it says, equally extraordinary are the book's revelations about the hitherto secret diplomatic and political infighting that went on between the 4 powers over the welfare and fate of the 7 prisoners. The events and intrigues surrounding the jail are as spellbinding as those that occurred inside. Yeah, I mean, all of this sounds really good. Let's see. So it has photographs in here. It's photographs alone, gathered from family albums, secret sources within Spandau itself, and unpublished material from the years leading up to the fall of the Third Reich, bear historic witness to the fallibility of human integrity. That is correct. So yeah, some of these photos, let's see here. They kind of they're grainy. They kind of I don't think I've ever seen any of these photos in any World War II or aftermath books I've read. Photographs of certain of those guys' cells. Oh, and this guy, he's got a painting of Jesus in there. Mm-hmm. It's funny how people find religion in prison, but not when they're out about in the free world. Okay, so anyway, pretty interesting stuff. First edition of this, and can't wait to start reading it. Ooh, okay, on that, yeah, we're going to switch gears. This book, just for thematic purposes only, I'm going to show this book. I didn't get this at Second and Charles, but I did order this online. Also, from the bibliography of Timothy Ryback's new book coming out soon, Take Over, Hitler's Final Rise to Power. He mentions this in one of his endnotes, his footnotes, and I was like, I want to read this book. Because it was in his post, in his notes on the sources, and he kind of talked at length at the end of the book about the different sources he used, and he really called out a few different people's work, and one of them was Fritz Stern, which, again, I go down these rabbit holes where I discover new sources from bibliographies and endnotes and source notes that, historians write. And I have another book coming from Fritz Stern from Thrift Books soon. So just trying. Don't tell Marty. Sorry. No, really, it's okay because I'm getting rid of things. Oh, that leads me to an announcement I want to make at the end of this video. If I can ever finish this video, I have a whole stack of books to show you. Anyway, I haven't taken off the shrink wrap yet because I like to protect books. So when I go to read it. You know what? No, I'm going to take it off now. Let's just do it. I was really pleased at the state that this book was in. Now, I did pay about $15 for it. It's not easy to find in a good, cheap, used version. For heaven's sakes, I can't even get... This is why I haven't taken off the shrink wrap. I can't access it. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is the book, one of the many books that Timothy Ryback mentioned that were important to his research and study, and it's The Politics of Cultural Despair, a study in the rise of the Germanic ideology by Fritz Stern. As you can see, this is an older edition. Oh God, this is University of California Press, Berkeley. Look at that old fat chunky font that they used back in the the 80s. Let's see. When did this come out? No, oh, no. Big chunky font from, wow. I knew, okay, it was either 70s or 80s, and it's 1974. Although it was copyrighted in 1961 by the Regents of the University of California. It's a delicate book now that I'm opening it up. This is, it could easily come away from the spine. But it's beautiful, and you know I have to smell. It smells like a great old used library book. It is, what a delicious smell for such a horrible topic. Let's see here. They just have a lot of blurbs on the back, so I can't give you. Oh, and I'll get lost in this bibliography as well. It's about 300 pages before you even hit the notes. It's highly footnoted. This is great stuff, guys. Yeah, I don't know what it is lately. I've just been really fascinated with the whole change in Germany, the end of the Weimar Republic, and then Hitler's rise to power. And again, that book Takeover, I can't recommend it enough because it dissects the moments, the very almost ridiculous moments that don't have almost a sense of high comedy if it weren't for the sense of tragedy that is like foreshadowed. And of course, we all know how history unfolded, but he talks about how, Hitler and this other guy got into an argument right before they went to go meet Hindenburg so that Hitler could be accept the chancellorship. And they were running late to that meeting with Hindenburg, and Hindenburg was like, "I'm getting ready to leave. Bye." He was just like, so they almost missed their meeting. And it almost didn't come off because of this shouting match that they were having outside the doors. It was really like Keystone Cops, But yeah, it like how history hinges on just the tiniest things, man. The tiniest things. He almost didn't become chancellor, and history would have been a very different thing. So that's been fascinating me lately. And there's just so much history in the making. When you look at power and how power corrupts, it corrupts the people in office, it corrupts the people vying for office, and so it's like the people are left out in the cold, as usual. Let me just read to you a blurb here. Let's see here. American Historical Review said, "It is a special merit of Stern's treatment that he combines his examination of the German case of the, quote, conservative revolution, end quote, with a recognition that the phenomenon is worldwide. Stern's book is a delight to read. His erudition is never allowed to smother a brilliant style, and nearly every paragraph is marked by arresting epigrams." All right. Let's see here. If only because it presents the intellectual and emotional background to National Socialism with rare clarity and penetrating analysis of its several and often sharply contrasting components, the ably written and profoundly interesting book would be of importance. With its useful footnotes, selective bibliography, and good index, Professor Stern's study is American scholarship at its best. So anyway, have any of you out there read Fritz Stern and this book in particular, The Politics of Cultural Despair? All right, sorry I kind of went on at length about that, but I wanted you to know that I picked this one up. There was a reason for it. There's a method to my madness. So now back to the last two books that I picked up from Second and Charles on Wednesday. All right. So I had picked up a couple of fiction titles by this author now at Second and Charles. And you know what it is? I had always thought, I don't know why I was thinking that this guy was just a playwright and nothing else. Well, or maybe he is. I don't know. Okay, it's Norman Mailer. Okay. I didn't realize he wrote so much historical fiction. I'm just going to put that out there. I didn't buy. He had a very, The Executioner's Tale, something like that. I picked that one up at Second and Charles last year sometimes. Big, fat, hardcover historical fiction. It was all about Oswald, right? Lee Harvey Oswald. So I come across this one when I'm browsing down the fiction aisles. And I'm like, this kind of goes in with all of my recent reading. And I haven't read this guy's fiction. So I'm like, and I haven't gotten around to An Executioner's Tale yet. But anyway, this is The Castle in the Forest by Norman Mailer. And there he is. They had this marked, this brand new Deckle-edged hardcover is only $2.95. Free for me. So I'll give you a little synopsis here. No career in modern American letters is at once so brilliant, varied, and controversial as that of Norman Mailer. Okay. In a span of more than 6 decades, Mailer has searched into subjects ranging from World War II to ancient Egypt, from the March on the Pentagon to Marilyn Monroe, from Henry Miller and Muhammad Ali to Jesus Christ. Now, in The Castle in the Forest, his first major work of fiction in more than a decade, Mailer offers what may be his consummate literary endeavor. He has set out to explore the evil of Adolf Hitler. Now, this came out in 2007. I see. So he hadn't written anything for a decade until 2007. The narrator, a mysterious SS man in possession of some extraordinary secrets, takes the young Adolf from birth through his adolescence. En route, revealing portraits are offered of Hitler's father and mother and his sisters and brothers. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. A tapestry of unforgettable characters, The Castle in the Forest delivers its myriad twists and surprises with astonishing insight into the nature of the struggle between good and evil that exists in us all. Again, that is always a topic that I am just transfixed by. It's like, it's a driving force in my reading choices. Of course, I read things that are assigned to me, so there's not all of my reading is choice-based, you know what I'm saying? But the things that really personally compel me in my reading, it usually all comes back down to this one aspect of humanity, is that tension, that pull between good and evil that we all wrestle with. And then the results of those, acting on one or the other, and what comes forth from that, and what flows from that, which is usually, and that makes history. You know what I'm saying? That impacts history, that creates history, if for good or ill. But anyway, just a personal note there. It says here, at its core is a hypothesis that this novel employs with stunning originality. Now, on the eve of his 84th birthday, Norman Mailer may well be saying more than he ever has before. Yes. Now, did he write The Postman Always Rings Twice or something? Or wait. Yeah, well, what about, no, I'm thinking about The Salesman. There's a play with a salesman, and it's, who am I thinking wrote that? I don't know. Maybe it was Norman Mailer. It doesn't say in his list of works. But I picked up The Castle in the Forest. I'm going to put this right next to the Executioner song or tale or whatever. And I may check out more. I didn't know he wrote about ancient Egypt, too. That's fantastic. Now, the creme de la creme of this visit to Second and Charles was this book, because I realized this is the first of 3 books. They only had this one there that I could find. This is in new condition. If you want to buy this book, it's $40 on the publisher's website. And this is Martin Luther, His Road to Reformation, 1483 to 1521 by Martin Brecht. They had this listed. I mean, it's brand new. Was that a water stamp? Not a water stamp. Oh, it's a library stamp. I didn't even notice that, but that makes no. Look at, it's like no one read it. No one checked it out. It's only $7. Free for me. The other two books, you know I want to get to close this out, but at least I got the first volume, His Road to Reformation, 1483 to 1521. And this came out from Fortress Press. I'd like to read all three, and then just kind of report back on things as I get them finished. This came out in 1993. I don't have a description to tell you, but I haven't heard of Martin Brecht before. I've heard of Bertolt Brecht. Maybe Martin was his father. I don't know. You guys can clue me in the comments below. I've always been interested in Luther and how his theology evolved away from the Catholic and then just the fallout from his ideas. So I definitely thought this was the winner of the bunch. But I was really pleased with all of them, But yeah, free. So now I'm on the hunt for the next two volumes. All right, so stay tuned for that. Okay, now I've been meaning to tell you that I had recently read a historical fiction novel called Finding Margaret Fuller, and it just made me on fire to read all about Margaret Fuller. And I found a 2-volume biography of her on Thrift Books. One was in hardcover, and the second volume was in paperback. So it's by Charles Capper. So I'll show you the hardcover first. This is Margaret Fuller, An American Romantic Life, The Public Years. Nice, big, chunky biography. It's an Oxford University Press title. That came out in 2007. And then, just because I'm running out of time here, we have Margaret Fuller. This is paperback. An American Romantic Life, The Private Years by Charles Capper. I tried peeling off the sticker, and that was a bad idea that I did that, because now it is so sticky, and I tried wiping it off. I guess I need to use some type of solution to get that off. Look at that. I ripped off this tag, the sticker, and now I've got the... That's fantastic. I've got dog hair on there. We have 4 dogs. What can I say? So yeah, anyway, and then this one came out 1992. It stuck to my hands. You guys know of any home solutions that takes off the sticky? Do I use like Goo Gone or something like that? Or something? There's something, yeah. Apparently this one came out first. I think the Private Years. I would have thought the Public Years would have come out first. But anyway, I'm really happy to have a comprehensive biography on Margaret Fuller. I was just really entranced by that novel. It really brought her and Ralph Waldo Emerson to life, and also what, her life over in Rome and Italy and how she was reporting on that. Oh, and then just her she was sailing back with a book on her reporting of the war, the Garibaldi's revolutions over in Italy, because she was in the midst of it, and she was sailing back, and it was a completed manuscript, and it was going to be her crowning glory, and that shipwreck. Her husband, her 2-year-old son, and everyone went down within sight of shore, right off of was it Fire Island. It's so sad. Oh, spoiler! Sorry. Hey, you know what? Sorry, just in case you were wanting to read about her, but then again, it's it kind of puts it into it might draw people. Some people have a morbid fascination with that and be like, oh, I'm going to read about that. But just her thinking life was just her writing. She was just considered a genius amongst the transcendentalists. So I got these. So I'm really happy to get those, and I wanted to share them with you. What else should I squeeze in? I won't be able to show you everything, but that's okay because I have some more used books here. So I can do another used book haul soon, but let me show you some others that have been lingering. So let's go from the Transcendentalists to this one. And I don't know if I've shown you this already, but I first saw this on Johnny Keane's channel, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this. For a while in my early 20s, my late teens and early 20s, I was a rabid Virginia Woolf fan. Read everything and saw everything made about the Bloomsbury Circle, the Bloomsbury set. Then I kind of, got out and saw the world a bit on my own and experienced things, and I was like, oh, yeah, there's a bunch of artists and hippies. Just kidding. I still find it fascinating. But so this book looks like a really fun read. This is young Bloomsbury, the generation that redefined love, freedom, and self-expression in 1920s England by Nino Strachey. Yeah, saw that on Johnny Keane's channel. So this is about what it says it's about. In the years before the First World War, a collection of writers and artists like Virginia Woolf, E.M. Forster, and Lytton Strachey, among them, began to make a name for themselves in England and America. And they called themselves the Bloomsbury Group. And by the 1920s, they were at the height of their influence. Then a new generation stepped forward, creative young people who tantalized their elders with their captivating looks and bold ideas. Young Bloomsbury introduces us to this colorful cast of characters, including novelist Eddie Sackville West, who wore elaborate makeup and dressed in satin and black velvet. Artist Stephen Tomlin, who sculpted the heads of his male and female lovers, and author Julia Strachey, who wrote a searing tale of blighted love for Woolf's Hogarth Press. Let's see. Bloomsbury had always celebrated sexual equality and freedom in private, feeling that every person had the right to live and love in the way they chose. But as transgressive self-expression became more public, this younger generation gave old Bloomsbury a new voice. Revealing an aspect of Bloomsbury history not yet explored, this book celebrates an open way of living and loving that would not be embraced for another 100 years. So, it's all about these folks. Yeah. That's curious. I find that as you get older, you tend to grow a little bit more. I don't speak for everyone, but I speak for me and what I have observed in other people and myself, that you tend to become a little bit more buttoned down. And it's just like, why? Why do I have to wave a flag around? Just not interested. When it comes to like sexuality and stuff like that, it's like, that's not really something I want to be like, hey, woo! It's, you know what I mean? I'd rather be known for like, if I'm going to be known for anything, it's just like, damn, she was a really good writer. Or she was a really good, she had really good insights into books she read, like if there's a flag for that, I could wave that, I'm a good writer. Whoa! I'm silly. I'm just teasing. Anyway, the only flag that flies is the American flag out front. But for this month, it's the Irish flag. We're flying the Ireland flag in honor of St. Patrick's Day. And Martine is, she's an Irish citizen, and we're celebrating her country. And I have my ancestors come from Ireland as well. So, yay. Those are my flags right now. Oh, and of course I put out my Michigan Wolverines and Detroit Lions stuff, but that's more of a sporting thing. 40 minutes, guys. And hey, I've got to run Goldie to the vet. So, tell you what, I've got a few of these left. Okay, so I might make part two, or I might just do a separate used book video and just include those in there. But please do come back to the history shelf. I've got more. Do I have more videos coming? I have a whole list of ideas here, and I've got new history on the horizon. I've got a ton of new things coming. I'm reading a ton of new, reading and reviewing a ton of new history books coming out. So I'll include those in that video as well. So there's always something a brewing here at the History Shelf. In the meantime, I am trying to finish this book for review as well. It's a new Jeff Shara book, The Shadow of War, a novel of the Cuban Missile Crisis. So it's real good so far. So anyway, guys, until next time, and I'll try to do one maybe this weekend. Maybe I'll do a St. Patrick's Day one as well. I do have Irish history books I could show you. There's an idea. I'm going to go write it down right now. So hope you're having a great Friday. Hope to see you soon, and take care out there. Bye.